Staying with the Mao, there's quite a bit of political rhetoric. So, in my explainer tonight, we will be taking a look at just what is at stake in the Mao Forest Complex, one of the most important water towers in the country. So, we want to start off by just giving you the most important information in terms of what it is you are looking at. So, this is the entirety of the Mao Water Tower, or the Mao Forest Complex. This is such an important water tower in the country that the United Nations program termed it the single most important watershed in Rift Valley and Western Kenya, and it's got the largest mountain forest in the country. As you can see, there's quite a number of counties that are here, represented within the Mao complex. It consists of 22 blocks, and it is just one block that is contentious, and we'll be getting back to that in a moment. Now, remember, this is about 475,000, or is it 455,000? Hectares, which amounts to a little over 1 million acres in its entirety. And just to give you some perspective of what that is, I want you to take a look at this map, and we'll tell you why it is very important. So, why do we call it the most important water tower? It is the source of 12 rivers: Sondu, Mara, Nyando, Yala, Iwasongero, Molo, Njoro, Nderit, Makalia, Naishi, Mumberes, and Zoya tributaries, all of which feed into 5 lakes, which are Turkana, Baringo, Nakuru, Lake Natron, and Lake Victoria. As you can see with some of those are shared resources, not just in Kenya, like Lake Victoria, for example. So, like I was talking about, just in terms of giving you some context, right, as to just how big the Mao Forest is, it is 6 times the size of Nairobi County. So Nairobi County is about 175,000 acres, thereabouts. 6 Nairobi counties would fit in to the Mao Forest Complex. So that just gives you an idea of what a huge area we are dealing with. Now, why are environmentalists so concerned? Just take a look at one section of the East Mao, according to the Kenya Water Tower Agency, and look at the amount of deforestation, or the amount of forest cover that has been lost. 40% of the forest cover in East Mao alone has been lost. From 1990, the forest coverage in East Mao was over 54,000 hectares. As of 2016, it had gone down 40% to around 21,000 hectares. Why is this such an important resource, and what does it mean for everybody involved? Well, for one, it is said to support the livelihoods of close to 10 million people. And in fact, many environmentalists are linking the severe drought we have in the country right now, and that we've been experiencing over time, to the loss of forest cover that has taken place, or the degradation that has taken place in the Mao Forest Complex. Also, it is an important one for tourism. Remember those rivers that we talked about? One of them is responsible for the Mara Serengeti ecosystem that is famous for the World Heritage Site, that is the wildebeest migration that brings in millions of shillings. Also, Lake Nakuru, which, as you know, is drying up in certain parts, and a lot of tourists go in to see the flamingos. In its heyday, Lake Nakuru, which had the most visited national park, 15% of the tourism dollars in the country were coming from Lake Nakuru National Park. It's also responsible for hydroelectric power generation and the international obligations that I talked about when it comes to those shared resources. Lake Natron in Tanzania, that is fed through the Iwasongero River, which comes from the Mao complex. The Mara Serengeti that we've talked about is a shared resource between Kenya and Tanzania. Here is something else that could be at stake if the degradation in the Mao continues. In 2010, Kenya signed an accord to manage the resources of the Nile. The Nile gets its waters from Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria is fed by rivers from the Mao complex. So you can see just how important this is, not just for us, but indeed for the region, and why the Eastern Africa region is taking close attention to what is happening here. Now, remember we talked about that one block where all the drama is coming from? Remember, the trouble began in that buffer zone that was created between the 21 blocks and the 1 block that had been set aside for use by the community. And it is in this 1 block that the drainage basin is located. So, That is where all the environmental magic happens, and yet that is the area that is the bone of contention when we discuss Mao Forest, now in its second phase of eviction. To help me understand these issues and what the solutions lie ahead,